Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Hello and welcome to WrestleRamble episode 14. I'm Ollie Davis, this is Luke Owen, and today we're reviewing this week's episodes of Raw and Smackdown, including a terrific main event on Raw, Chris Jericho debuting, then losing, and then leaving Smackdown, and of course, we'll be going through our payback predictions. If you want to jump to any of those discussions right away, just click the timestamps in the video description below. But for right now, should we talk about some payback?
Yeah, let's talk about payback. What did you think of the show?
I thought it was surprisingly good considering the awful Raw go-home show.
Yeah.
I'm going to move my seat a little bit so I can see you more.
That's okay. We're a little bit close.
Right?
I like
Yeah?
it. It was solid, mostly solid in-ring action. It was a show that, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really matter much.
What, not the pre-show Enzo and Cass versus the club victory?
Yeah, things like that. And as I was watching the show, I was like, well, I mean, this is all good. There's nothing egregiously bad on this, save for the House of Horrors.
Did you not like the House of Horrors?
It was simultaneously the best and worst thing I've ever seen in WWE.
Yeah. That's how I feel towards it.
Yeah, as I was watching it, as soon as it started and that tractor went past him with no one riding it, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Were you actually creeped out by that? Because I watched it and was like, that's kind of creepy, actually. But then it cut back to Randy Orton's reaction shot, and he's like, the fuck? And I just like that face. And it just seemed like Randy Orton going into a room, going, the fuck? And then Bray Wyatt attacks him.
That was it.
Bray Wyatt attacks him.
That was it. It was like the tractor went past, and the house was blue, and I was like, and it's the darkest of night. It's like 1:30 in the morning in San Jose, where it was 5:30 and bright daylight.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is awesome. And then as soon as they started fighting, and it was just Randy goes into another room, sees some creepy stuff, Bray attacks him. Randy goes into another room, sees some creepy stuff, Bray attacks him. Like, I'm getting a little bit bored of this now. Also, I was really wary that at the very start, they announced, this match will take place in a House of Horrors, but will end up back here. And I'm like, spoilers?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was that that's the official rules, I guess.
I feel like the concept could have been executed better, but for a House of Horrors match, like that part, I thought I guiltily enjoyed it. In fact, no, I didn't guiltily enjoy it. I just straight up enjoyed it.
Do you know what I also feel like they missed a trick with?
Tell me.
Randy should have been driving the limo.
Oh, on the way back?
Yes.
Sure. He got there real quick.
I was expecting them to almost do I think it was Backlash 99 when Stephanie gets into the back of the limo waiting for her dad, and then the partition comes down and it's the Undertaker. Goes,
yes,
where to, Stephanie? I was expecting that sort of thing, like Bray getting in and going driver, take me to... I can't do a Bray impression.
You were kind of on the right track. There's no Booker T from last week, which everyone went crazy for in the comments.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to chuck out the...
Oh, man, I'm not a performing monkey.
Okay.
But it's... I forgot my train of thought now. Yeah, so Bray's in there and he starts doing his whole one in his hands, and then he just goes... Bzzz, and it's Randy sitting there going where to, Bray?
But then you have to fight in the limo. That would have been good. Then Randy gets into the back of the limo. They're scuffling in the limo, and then the actual limo driver just drives them while they're...
So almost like
it'll be like a Family Guy sketch where Peter's facing the chicken.
I think you were going to say it was like the Hollywood Brawl or whatever it was, the Goldust Roddy Piper match they had where they were taking the mick out of O.J. Simpson's car chase. I can't remember what pay-per-view that was from now. But anyway,
I'm sure you watched it recently, though, just in your spare time. So I'm just going to run through the payback prediction results because we did predictions. It was our first time of trying to go ahead. Well, we did it for WrestleMania, but we didn't really keep track of who was winning. So I've actually done it this time. The kickoff show, the most important match on the card, obviously, because that's the one that most people see.
Yes, it is.
That's the one that all the people who wrestle on the pre-show are like,
I've got to be on that show.
This is the place to be.
JBL told me that this is the most important match on the card, so I want to be on there. Put me in the Memorial Battle Royal.
Don't let me on the main card. Not as many people will see me. Put me on primetime television.
Don't put me in featured storylines that people care about. I want to be on YouTube.
There was a time though when the pre-show match was awesome. I remember, was it the Usos Shield? I can't remember. Or was it the Usos and the Goldust and Cody Rhodes tag team?
Was that on a pre-show?
Yeah, it was on a pre-show.
Oh, wow.
It was in the summer of one year. I want to say 2 years ago, a summer pay-per-view. And yeah, they just stole the show. in the pre-show. But that was Ryback's gimmick, wasn't it? The pre-show stopper or the pre-show stealer. So the Club versus Enzo and Cass on the kickoff show. I said the Club. You said Enzo and Cass, not just Enzo. You got that one.
I certainly did, yeah. It was a match that I didn't really particularly care for or care about, and I picked one of the names, and I managed to get that name right.
If we cut this match out, I mean, the pre-shows...
Well, you counted it.
Maybe it was just an appetizer to get us started for the predictions. I'm just saying, if we get rid of that, the scores are a bit more level.
I was going to say, you want to do that because then the scores are level.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll keep it in there. First match on the main card, chumps, was Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the US title. And how about that?
Yeah, mate, neither of us saw it coming, and it was funny because
nobody saw it coming.
I was doing the washing up while I was watching this pay-per-view
because it was predictable, yeah.
And I was just doing the washing up, and then as soon as he got him into the walls, the second time after they'd done the big finger thing, I was like, how's Owens going to get out of this one?
Yeah,
like
he's already done the finger.
He's got a tap here, surely, and then he tapped, and I was like, huh. Well, I guess Kevin Owens is winning the title back on Tuesday then.
Yeah, which is exactly what happened. Yeah.
I think it was just done to swerve people, and I suppose to put Jericho onto SmackDown when he finishes playing with Fozzy. My only thing with that is that I thought the whole point of the Superstar shake-up was to shake things up a little bit, not just move feuds across like they did with Miz and Ambrose.
And Sammy and Owens.
Yeah, but if you'd have kept Jericho on Raw and Owens on SmackDown, then you could have kept that feud a bit fresher when they eventually did cross paths again when they were on the same show, rather than just as soon as Jericho comes back, he's going to be feuding with Owens again.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was one of those things that seemed like, everyone's kind of figured this out. Let's just swerve it.
Let's just swerve it for whatever reason.
Go against the what we were going to do in the first place, and it will make things a bit tricky for us. But hey, we don't actually care about wins and losses and how that affects the stories we tell.
It doesn't matter that Kevin Owens is now like a 2-time US champion or whatever it was, because that's a devalued number.
Yeah, so we both said Owens, so we were both wrong there.
Yeah.
Neville versus Austin Aries for the Cruiserweight Championship.
There's a technicality here, isn't there? Because I am right, because I predicted Austin Aries, and Austin Aries did win via disqualification.
Yeah.
But Neville retained the championship.
Yeah, so my argument was, but now's not the time to take the title off Neville, so I say Neville was going to win. And so he came out... Okay, you got this one. I'm trying to argue that he's still the champion.
Scuttlebutt was that the bookies were going back and forth, or the money bets were coming in late in the day for it to be Neville, which means that Austin Aries was always plans to win the belt, and then they changed their minds at the very last minutes.
Yeah, you have smart money, which is where the bookies, right, like the couple of hours before the pay-per-view, all the odds will go in one direction, and those are the favourites, and they tend to be completely accurate. And
it's usually WWE writers who are putting the money on, because they're the ones.
Nice.
And they did it with Brock and Taker at WrestleMania. It was like about an hour before that match went on, there was a huge surge in bets for Brock to win.
How is that not massively illegal? How's that not like insider trading?
Because they're probably getting their mates to do it.
But that's still insider trading.
If I was a writer, I could just text you saying put 1,000 on Brock beating Taker.
But if I'm the CEO of Money Inc. and I'm like, hey friend, I'm going to sell this to
Ted DiBiase and IRS,
to Big Dollar Corporation. That's insider trading. I've given a tip. If you overhear that on a plane, a woman once overheard a stock tip on a plane, and I saw this in Billions actually. This could be a fiction.
I saw this on a television, a fictionalized television show.
She was taken to court on the show. So...
Mate, I was watching an episode of Law and Order, and I've seen some crimes go unpunished on that show. Sometimes it happens.
So that was a good Tyler Breeze and Fandango segment.
We'll come on to that, my friend.
We should have a board similar with a lot of in-jokes.
Anyway, I thought it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it.
Do you think we're going through this speedily enough?
You wanted to go faster.
We've got Raw and SmackDown already.
Yep.
So next up was Hardy Boys. So as a refresh, you are now 2-0
Yeah.
I've got nothing right. You've got 2 right.
Yes.
Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
We both said the Hardys.
Yep.
You said
Heel turn.
maybe we could see a heel turn. And I was like, that sounds really cool. I didn't even think of that. So credit to you.
Thanks, man.
You were correct.
Thank you.
I thought it was a good heel turn.
Yeah, I thought it was really effective. There's been a lot of talk about Sheamus being very sloppy in the ring because he kicked Jeff Hardy's tooth right out of his head and cut Matt Hardy open. If you are a subscriber to the Wrestling Observer, I highly recommend going to listen to the Brian and Vinny report review of it because Brian Alvarez has a all-time epic meltdown over his dislike of Sheamus in the ring.
Well, the argument is
he should be fired.
Jeff Hardy was stationary. So when Jinder Mahal and concussed Finn Balor, Finn Balor was moving.
Yeah.
A lot of these accidents usually happen when there's a moving opponent. You just miss because you just have to misjudge it slightly, and you hit them in the completely wrong area way too hard. Whereas Jeff Hardy was just on the floor, like on his hands and knees. I watched it back. And like Sheamus just boots him
just
in the face.
Yeah, well, it's his shin hits him because he kicks him in the chest, but his shin hits him in the jaw, and that's what knocked his teeth out. And bearing in mind, like Daniel Bryan is retired because of Sheamus, because Sheamus gave him a concussion on a house show tour, and that's the one that ended Daniel Bryan's career. So Sheamus has like a long history of being snug in the ring, as they would say. He's stiff as a board.
He's Irish though, so McMahon will never properly punish him.
No, and he's Hunter's boy as well. So
yeah, they used to train together.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why he got that big push in 2013.
I heard from Sheamus that's a fallacy. Not from Sheamus, like in an interview somewhere. He was not on the phone to me. Fella, how's it going? It's my Irish.
Is that your?
I'm not as good as impressions as you. You're gonna make me self-conscious about.
Hey there, Ollie fella.
You see, that's good. That's more Finn Balor.
Is it? No, it's more Sheamus. I'm trying to think Finn Balor.
I'll move on.
Finn Balor, you just got to say throat. I'm going to kick your teeth down your throat.
That's pretty good, actually.
Thank you,
there is a difference. Okay, so next up. Oh, I got one right here. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. Oh, sorry, my phone is trying to... I've enabled I'm not going to say it. I've enabled Google Assistant on my phone. And now it will just start doing things for me.
Is this like your...
in my pocket.
Like, because you've got an Amazon Echo at home.
Well, this next match is a problem.
So whenever you say Alexa, or whenever the TV says Alexa.
Yeah.
It thinks you need something.
Well, and Alexa Bliss comes up a lot in conversation in my house.
And her mouth.
Yeah, and a beautiful mouth. So anytime I'm watching Raw now, and Alexa Bliss is said on air, my Amazon Echo, which answers to Alexa, activates. It's like, I didn't quite catch that. Or, yes, I have reordered milk. Not again. So much milk.
And you're a vegan.
So Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. I said Alexa Bliss. You said Bayley.
Only because I think that my ending was better. In that I thought that my ending would have extended the feud out much better. And actually, going by Raw, the Alexa Bliss-Bayley feud is now dead.
Yeah, they put a pin in that, really
did. That was the full stop to that feud, which I thought that it had a few more legs. It had a few more months left to it, and I think that Alexa Bliss having the match won, going outside, like screaming at her dad in the face, slapping her dad, walking back in, Bayley to belly, 1, 2, 3. That. Like, you can then do a rematch in the next month because you can. I had you beat. You were lucky.
It's a really good finish. Your one. I would much prefer, because Alexa Bliss is the kind of real hateable character. Her character, the way she plays it, that is, that you can have multiple feuds going all the time. So just keep that Bayley plate spinning, and then get the Nia Jax one going as well. It's a bit of Sasha Banks.
Problem is though that you're asking the Raw writing team to spin plates with the women's division. Essentially, the way that the women's division booked on Raw is that you have one feud for the title, and that's it.
Or on SmackDown now, you just have one feud for all of them.
But that's good. At least everyone's involved. And SmackDown had a pay-per-view. They had 3 different women's matches on there.
We're getting distracted from the fact that I was correct.
You were correct, and I will give you props to that. I didn't think it was the right time, but yeah.
You betted against someone winning in their hometown. Sorry, you betted against.
Call it naivety. Yeah. But I thought that, and in all fairness, in my defence, that loss did kill the crowd.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't
the
really recover until the main event.
Well, because there was that, and then they have a match which they can't see.
Yeah, they had the House of Horrors match, which was booed out the building, which we're coming on to now.
Yes, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt for the
No, it wasn't.
not for the WWE Championship.
No, it wasn't.
But it was for the House of Horrors?
Well,
so who gets that property?
There was a lot of people in the comment section. It was so funny. Like, when we talked about it being for the WWE Championship, or we thought it was, everyone in the comments were like, you idiots. Of course it's not for the WWE Championship. It's never been for the title. You're a bunch of idiots. You don't do any research.
Not everybody said
last
that.
week...
Like, 2 people said that.
No, there was loads of people.
I think, you remember the bad ones.
There was loads of people.
Everyone's
and then
lovely in the comments.
And then last week, we said it's not for the title, and everyone was saying, like, yeah, of course it's not for the title. Jinder's got it. I'm like, that's not the reason why. It's just Jinder stole the belt.
He did have the belt, and he did turn up.
He did turn up.
So that's that. We've said our piece on this. But we both said Bray. No, we both said Randy Orton.
Do you know what is funny as well? Like, as soon as Bray won, I suddenly thought to myself, well, yeah, of course he did.
If it wasn't for the championship.
No, it's not. It's because, it wasn't for the championship, and he needs to establish himself as a Raw guy, especially since he's going into a feud with Finn Balor. He needed the win over Randy Orton, so I don't know why I feel like an idiot now for picking Randy.
Well, we didn't know all the deets, as cool kids say.
Well, no, it's the deets. I'm just thinking about it logically. Like, Bray needed the win.
Bray needed the win, but Randy Orton's also the WWE champion. I can see how it would have gone either way. Don't beat yourself up over that one, man. Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe, another one we both got wrong. We both said Joe, because we both thought Joe needed the win. Apparently Seth Rollins needed that fluke win.
The Kingslayer needed another win, and that feud must continue.
Yeah, he's going to be selling his knee for a while. I feel like, I like a match with a story in that you can work over someone's body part. But yeah, they're using it a lot. Every Seth Rollins match is now all on the knee.
But it was a good match. I was expecting it to be better, I'll be honest. But I think the crowd being dead was what really hurt it. There was no one really popping for anything that was going on, and I think that dragged the match down a bit slightly for me.
Yeah, after Bayley losing, and then the House of Horrors match, and then this happened, and then the House of Horrors match finished when they finally got to the. They drove all 1,900 miles.
Yeah, and
from Missouri.
Luckily enough, Bray arrived just as the match ended. So
it's convenient.
It was really good timing on his driver's part.
And finally, in the main event, we had Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns did a damn good job selling. I thought I was always conscious about his shoulder. So it was his left shoulder that was majorly taped up. And I thought the commentators aren't doing him any favours here, because they weren't talking about the shoulder. But I was just, the way Reigns was moving around, every time Braun went for him, I was like, oh, I felt it there in the shoulder. And then about halfway through the match, Michael Cole started to talk about, he's trying to protect the shoulder.
Yeah.
So, I thought he did very well.
I thought it was a really good match, actually. I really, really enjoyed it. As we've said on this show many, many times, Roman Reigns is a really good worker. He's very good at what he does. It's just no one likes him. Poor Lance, brothers just died, and everyone still booed him. Like the guy can't catch a break. He will never get cheered at this point.
In the worst week of his professional life, where not only did his brother die, but he was also beat up by Braun Strowman.
It was, mate.
It's kind of WWE's fault by putting that really real sad thing in the same as this comic book violence thing.
Yeah.
But did you watch Raw Talk afterwards?
No, I don't know.
So they continued the angle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I know I
Payback,
did see this. Yeah, no.
And it was pretty brutal. They've got like the camera on Roman Reigns. He's stumbling through the corridor, and he's obviously bitten one of those blood capsules, and he just bends down by the wall, and he goes, and he spits, and all this blood just goes over the wall. That was pretty cool.
Okay, do you know what my issue with that is?
Okay.
So, Braun goes over Roman Reigns. He looks super strong. He's just beaten Roman Reigns. He's a former champion. That's a big win for Braun Strowman. He then destroys destroys Roman Reigns some more, and then drops the stairs on him and makes him cough up blood. Braun looks like the big super killer heel. Roman Reigns is going to have to be stretched out, but Roman Reigns is a superhuman man, so he doesn't need no stretcher. How does Payback end on the WWE Network? Braun trying to attack him again and failing. So Braun just looks like a complete idiot.
I think you're missing the point.
No, I don't. That is the point. They just can't. They don't do themselves any favours. They're trying to make him into a monster heel. So have him look like a monster heel at all times, not just looking like a doofus right at the end.
I'm saying Roman wasn't his target.
Oh, the door was.
The ambulance door was. Braun Strowman hates ambulances. He's deadlifted one. Yeah. Now he rips off the door of another.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't like hospitals.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
You're right, yeah.
Local medical facilities.
Yeah.
So overall...
Just like a Tory.
Overall, it was... We can't put political allegiances on the show. Hopefully the Americans don't know what a Tory is. Yeah. It's a very English thing. So I had 4 out of 8. You had 5 out of 8.
Yes.
However, I'm just like, if we don't count the pre-show, it's actually both 4 out of 7. And then if we also Neville's still champion,
that's what I was about to say. If you add that in, then yeah. I mean, if you fudge the statistics enough, then you do win. It's like a Donald Trump presidency.
Stop with the political references. People come here for escapism. They just want wrestling politics. Who's trying to get over who? Okay, so you, of course, won that one. I'm not going to be too much of a sore loser.
Thank you.
And we've had some people email in with some stakes for what we should do. I don't think we're going to do either of these.
No.
So Marcus Faze very kindly emailed in and said, whoever loses the payback predictions should eat spaghetti. Fine with that.
Oh, yeah, love spaghetti.
But here's the catch. But instead of noodles, they are worms.
Who puts noodles in spaghetti?
I think
maybe
pasta.
Just, no, I'll pass, thanks. I'll leave.
Well, you don't have to do it. You won.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
This is for me.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, I'll leave that to the boogeyman.
And the other thing is, Oliver Travers has said, "Loser completely shaves head and face."
Yeah. Now, you. I was
going
to say your hair's really nice.
It's not going to be here for that long, though. I want to keep it.
I was going to say, you and I are men who don't have a lot of time left with hair on this planet.
It's the wrong way round.
Yeah.
It needs to just... I might start green screening it in. if I wear a green hat on the news.
Yeah, and I can't shave off my beard.
So yeah, if you have any other stakes, more reasonable stakes that either of us could do, well, it'd be me now for losing the payback predictions. Email those in to ollie@wrestletalk.tv. But now we're going to review Raw and go through that. Of course, I've already done my thoughts in the Raw in 4 minutes thing, so I'll just be repeating myself, to be honest. But we've got your opinion.
Yeah.
Well, let's go through it. So first up, we have Alexa Bliss's coronation.
Loved this segment.
It was good, wasn't it? Well, the match wasn't that great, but
I thought this opening segment, because I love Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
I think she's so good in her character. I think she's great. I loved Bayley with her arms folded and her pouty face because she lost. She was so grumpy. It was ace. She was so good in that role. I thought Sasha Banks did a really good job. My favourite moment, though, was when she bumped into Nia Jax and then turned around and just went, "We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. You're great."
That is the strength of a good wrestling character. That not only can she make herself look really good, she made Nia Jax look good.
Oh, look great, yeah.
And Nia Jax, isn't the best in... I don't enjoy her in-ring work. To be honest, I don't even enjoy the rest of her work because it just amounts to quite unconvincingly looking from side to side every now and again.
She is the shifty eye dog from The Simpsons.
Yeah. But she's got a good look, I guess. But yeah, Alexa Bliss suddenly made me want to see an Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax match.
Yeah.
That is something.
Especially with Nia Jax as the monster baby face as well. I think that'd be really great.
That is a good dynamic.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, just trying to swat a fly with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed this. I was really conscious, and it's been a thing recently, like the last 3 weeks, really conscious of how horribly staged these segments are. Like, everyone's stood, and it has to be that way, the hard cam's here, but like one person there, in a V formation round the podium.
Here's the thing, though.
And they were just standing there like dolls.
You don't need to be stood like that. I get that the hard camera's there, but the ring is 360. Like there's 360 around the ring. You've also got multiple camera angles, so you don't always have to play to the hard camera.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you only play to that one, this shot looks weird. This shot looks weird. This shot looks weird. So just play it naturally.
I think obviously play to the hard camera is one of the most important pieces of advice for anyone on the indie scene. I mean, because that's the mistake they always make.
Wrestlers have to go to NXT for 2 years to learn that.
But that's it. I think this NXT mentality of, oh look, we've struck gold with this new rule that everyone has to do everything towards the hard cam. I think they've gone too much the other way now. And because I all my favourite shots as a kid was The Rock on every turnbuckle doing this.
Yeah.
So now it's everyone's looking this way. I think, and when you stop when you end the match, like the welcoming committee and yesterday's SmackDown, they all went straight to the it was awkward the way they all went to that rope and
Yeah.
looked into the camera.
Yeah, it can be a bit awkward, but I mean, it's no more awkward than when like they have to stand backstage watching a TV where they're standing at a sort of angle that like you're there and the TV's here.
Yeah.
Like you would never stand there to watch that TV.
But it's not. They don't even turn their heads because you've got to see the facial expression. So the TV's here. Have you ever seen the clip of? It was like a WCW clip, and Kevin Nash is backstage watching a screen, and he walks out the room, always looking at the screen, even backs out through the door. I think he's taking the piss. Anything else on this match?
No, Dana Brooke looked all right though.
Did.
They were given. She gave no time to get in there, but they gave her as little as possible to mess up, and she didn't mess up any of it. So
she just came in, did a few flips,
Yep.
and it looked great. And that's how you make her better. Build her confidence up that way.
Absolutely, Dana Brooke is ace. She will
Protect her.
be. She will be
Yeah.
ace. Just protect her.
We're behind you.
Accentuate the positives, hide the negatives.
There was one beautiful moment in this.
And it was Dana Brooke.
Of course. But Alicia Fox was...
You said her name wrong.
how do you say it?
Alicia Fox.
Oh, sorry, Alicia. Beep. And she was in a hold for ages, and Bliss was shouting at her, "Come on, get over here!" And Alicia Fox just goes, "I'm trying." That's really made me laugh. Gallows beat Enzo. Anything you want to say on this?
No, your comment on the Raw Report summed it up perfectly.
Yeah. Thank God we had a superstar shake-up.
Yeah.
What next for Seth Rollins, though?
Yeah, the Universal title, it would seem. And
Or not.
well, no, okay, so here it is. What I liked about this segment is that it essentially told us what we're going to see from Brock Lesnar for the next year before he defends against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So now I can look forward to feuds between him, Lesnar and Rollins, Lesnar and Balor, which I think is going to be ace.
I agree.
And like Lesnar and Ambrose possibly. And it was a complete disaster the first time round, but as long as they don't do what they did last time, it could be quite good. But that segment then just essentially said, okay, here's your next year's worth of Brock Lesnar feuds, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's
I'm
a good
fine with
point,
that.
actually.
Yeah. I'd rather Samoa Joe be in there, but there's always time.
I agree with you though. I'm very much looking forward to Finn Balor out of all those, and that's
great,
weird
yeah.
because I haven't quite. Finn Balor hasn't clicked with me yet. He's got a great entrance, but he hasn't.
You didn't watch his NXT stuff, did you?
I watched the bits. I didn't keep up with it every week, but I watched the bits. And I've watched
the main bits,
and I've watched bits from New Japan. But yeah, that excites me. I think I'm more excited to see Finn Balor with his frame against this big monster Brock. I think that could be a real good match.
I'm so looking
when
forward to that.
Shawn Michaels always talks about if they come back, he wouldn't come back against AJ Styles because they're too similar. He'd come back against Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
His exact quote, because I could have some fun with that boy.
Good Christian man.
Yeah.
Also, because I think that Finn Lesnar, that's your SummerSlam main event.
Oh, do you think?
I think they're going to do that at SummerSlam. Yeah.
1 year after Finn Balor.
Yeah, won
Lost,
the Universal.
won and then had to give it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
that's a good shout.
Nice storyline point to go with there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with.
Good pick.
Thanks, man.
Rich Swann, Akira Tozawa, and Jack Gallagher beat Tony Nese, the Brian Kendrick, and Noam Dar.
Fun little cruiserweight match.
It was a nice little
yeah,
match.
Fun little match. I love Akira Tozawa.
Ha!
Ha!
Shamaro and Sheamus. Sorry, no, that's the same thing. Sheamus and Cesaro. I love their new gear. Should I tell you why I love their new gear?
Why do you love their new gear? Is it because they're wearing leather jackets?
It's leather jackets and it's the kilt, but most importantly, they're matching.
I thought you were going to say the shades. I was like,
the shade.
You're right, it's the shades.
Inside. The shades inside.
The true sign of a heel, unless your name's Bret Hart.
Yeah. And they... that was sort of
It was
the...
it was a cat's meow, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Isn't that how Bret Hart's music starts? It's how Natalia should start.
It goes out like that.
She's a crazy cat lady, isn't she? That was... Why do I do this thing to myself? Alexa Bliss's beautiful mouth last week.
Bret's meow. That's that girl in NXT, Aaliyah, the cat's meow. That's you now. That's your new gimmick.
Anyway, what I was trying to say before you got in my head with Bret Hart stuff is the whole gimmick behind Sheamus and Cesaro before was you would cheer for Cesaro, you would boo Sheamus, and they did that spot all the time on the turnbuckles. But now it's like, no, now they're the same. They're not different anymore. You haven't got this one guy in the suit and another guy in the kilt. Now they're both the same.
Yeah.
I thought it was a real smart touch.
I think it's a really nice way to continue this feud as well. And I think turning them heel will completely freshen them up as a team. I'm really excited about it. I really like it.
You excited for Tag Team Turmoil next week?
Well, yeah, we're going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be. I mean, what teams we got?
Well, that's the thing.
Golden Truth,
Enzo
and Cass, the Club, Shimaro.
I think that's it.
No, there's another one.
The Hardys,
Hardys.
obviously.
Yeah. Didn't they get one in the Superstar? Oh, Heath Slater and Rhino.
Oh, of course, yeah. But that's
Yeah.
Tag Team Turmoils where they're all in the ring at the same time, or is it when they come out?
I think it's when they come out one after the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever. But Matt Hardy did that was the most broken I've seen him yet.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, apparently they're nearing that deal.
Mm.
Well, I think there was a report said last week that they had earned the deal, but then Rebby said that they haven't.
Yeah, Wrestling News World reported that, and just as I uploaded the video, Rebby Sky tweeted, "No, we're not even talking to TNA because they don't own it."
Yeah.
And that's her argument. But you don't know. That's what she would say.
That's what she would say.
Kurt Angle revealed that Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman were injured after their
because
thing.
Braun's a div, apparently. Sorry, he's a doofus.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, wait. Cruz beat Heath Slater. Titus O'Neil stuff. Move on. Yeah, Roman Reigns. So they said that Braun Strowman had a torn rotator cuff, which is a really serious injury.
Yeah.
That's what John Cena and Cesaro were out with when they missed WrestleMania 32. Yeah, it was last year. And they were out for, well, Cena was out for like 2 weeks. But so, it was more like 5 to 6 months. I think Cesaro was a bit longer, actually.
Yeah, it's almost like it's too big of an injury. Especially, it's too big of an injury to get from just running into a door.
Yeah. And it's too big of an injury to then come back from next week.
Yeah.
Because when someone does get a torn rotator cuff, they're going to look like a chump.
Yeah, exactly.
When it takes them a genuine 6 to 7 months to come back.
Yeah.
The other problem really got to me here because I hate WWE's continued use of in history ever when it's really fine to just say right now.
Yeah.
Like that he's the most dominant person right now.
Yeah.
And then because when they say he's the most dominant person in WWE history, I'm like, you just lose all credibility to me.
Well,
That's too big a statement.
Exactly, especially when your champion is Brock Lesnar of all people. Like, you can't say those words.
So, yeah, Kurt Angle said the most physical match he's ever seen.
Not
That's how
true.
he described
It's
Reigns versus Strowman.
not true in the least. Not true in the least. He's been in more physical matches.
Exactly, yeah. So what did you think about Bray Wyatt coming out for Angle?
Yeah, I mean, so starting up a nice feud between him and Balor, which they're going to continue later on. It was weird as well, because when he came out and confronted Angle, my first thought was like, oh, I wonder if they're dropping this Balor feud and they're going to go with something else. And I wonder if they're going to build towards Bray v Angle at SummerSlam.
Oh. Well, Angle has been quite adamant that he won't be back in the ring until quite late on in the year, possibly early 2018. I haven't really thought about that. I don't have much interest in that, though. Do you?
I mean, I've got interest in seeing Kurt Angle in the ring.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a shit. When Bray, this was such a good promo from Bray.
Yeah.
But I was like, you're so good, but you've been ruined by losing all the time.
And not only that, but he's so good, but they've given him too many stupid things to do. Like, the classic example is The Undertaker. The Undertaker is someone who could be given, and he was given hundreds of stupid storylines. Like, you know, at the time he tried to drink Austin's blood, and he sacrificed, he chokeslammed Kane, or Kane chokeslammed him into his parents' tomb. Stupid things like this. But he managed to overcome those because he's The Undertaker. Kane, similarly, had loads of stupid storylines, like Katie Vick thing, Paul Bearer being drowned in cement, all this sort of kind of ridiculous things, but he's always recovered from it. You gave Bray all of this magic nonsense, and all of a sudden he's become a complete joke, and no one takes him seriously anymore, because he's been involved in stupid stuff.
Ooh.
Sorry about that. Stupid stuff like House of Horrors and worms being projected and holograms against Dean Ambrose. Remember when he did, he had the Princess Leia thing came out of his, there's lanterns.
Vanguard 1 stuff.
Exactly. It's too ridiculous. And now no one can take that man seriously. And it's a real shame. Real shame.
Do you want to hear I only realised this earlier today. They missed out on having a Braun Strowman reference. because Kurt Angle's talking about Braun Strowman. Bray Wyatt appears.
Yeah.
You know, there's a connection there. That would have been a nice continuity beat.
They forgot all about that.
I know,
Yeah.
they probably did. Austin Aries beat TJP, as he's now called, TJ Perkins, if you didn't get that acronym. I thought this was a really good match.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Austin Aries is great. TJ Perkins is great. So, yeah.
TJ Perkins is so great. He has got it down.
He's always been so great. Like, he was one of my favourite things about the Cruiserweight Classic.
But the character was wrong. The character wasn't connecting.
But he was a heel in the Cruiserweight Classic. That's why it worked then. So when they brought him up onto the main, like when they transferred to the main roster and he was a babyface, I was like, he's doing the same thing he was when people didn't like him in the Cruiserweight Classic. But I just thought, I think he's great. I've always thought he was great. He was completely underutilized in TNA.
The relationship with Neville as well. It's this weirdly sycophantic thing. I feel like it's quite Game of Thronesy in how he's politically manoeuvring himself with Neville. It's really nice, but he's still a bit lily-livered to actually go for it. And finally, in a cracking main event.
Superb main event, yeah.
The Miz beat Seth Rollins and Finn Balor.
Yeah, great main event. Probably the best main events this year.
I have to go back and look.
On Raw,
I'd say it's on Raw. SmackDown, I would probably put the Wyatt AJ Cena match ahead of it.
This year?
It was.
It was. But I just thought it was a really tremendous match. Great to see the Miz get something, even if he won essentially because other people interfered for him.
But that's totally fine.
It's totally fine.
That's how he should be. He should be winning matches like that, but not losing anything else.
Yes.
So you're still like, oh, he's full of crap, but no one can prove it.
Yeah.
But in the weeks leading up to that, he was jobbed out and made to look like a chump, lost to Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, but I thought it was a really, really great main event, and it kind of saved Raw a little bit because I didn't think it was a great show. It was a show of mostly nothing.
Yeah.
But I liked the opening segment. I liked the setup for Brock Lesnar's feuds down for the rest of the year, and the main event was great.
SmackDown I feel like it was kind of on a level with Raw this week. It was that similar thing like you just said, not much happened.
I enjoyed it much more.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
okay.
actually,
tell me why.
Actually, I thought it was a pretty fine little show, actually. Okay. I really enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed...
Convince me.
Well, I enjoyed the opening segments. I enjoyed AJ coming down. Some of their dialogue was a little bit naff. But Kevin Owens coming out really saved that segment, and I loved AJ just getting out the ring and going to deck him. Like
that was good.
It doesn't happen enough in wrestling where you got like a heel just going like, I'm a bad guy and you're dumb, and this is why I think you're dumb, and you're dumb, and I'm better than you. And the good guys just stand there and go like, this guy.
Especially the smiling as well, like it was John Cena.
This guy's saying things. AJ was just like, no, I'm just going to get out of the ring and deck you, mate. He was like, get out of my ring. So he was like, all right. Got out there and just went and punched him.
It was real badass.
Oh, it was great.
And then they did the proper...
The hockey fight. Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. So, yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And, I mean, do you want to just go through the rest of the show?
Just go through the card, yeah.
Okay, Jinder beat Sami Zayn.
Bit sloppy.
Yeah, but it's a Jinder match. Like he's not at that level yet. But Sami Zayn's excellent, and Sami Zayn can get the best out of people. And I thought again it was a perfectly fine little television match.
I thought the Singh brothers really helped. That they just make Jinder look like a bigger deal.
Exactly.
If they weren't there, I can't see it working.
Do you know what helps? Is the fact that they're a good foot shorter than him.
Yeah.
So like when
he's a tall guy.
He's a really tall guy, but he looks so much taller because like the Singh brothers aren't that tall. So he just towers above them. It's like when Rollins had J&J Security. Because they were small guys, it makes Seth look bigger and it makes him look more imposing.
Should I tell you who else is really tall? Aiden English. When he was backstage with Renee Young and Chris Jericho, he was a good entire head taller than Chris Jericho's quiff. That's how high up he was.
Speaking of,
I didn't even mean that.
Speaking of Aiden English, he jobbed out a little bit.
It was under a minute, that was.
Yeah, he's been given, I think, about 8 new nicknames. That they were trying to get out. They got all of them out within those 8 minutes. I can't remember.
Speaking like Les Mis, I'm just going to sing everything.
Yeah,
Prisoner 2.
But that was his gimmick in NXT before they put him in the Ford Villains. I feel really bad for Aiden English. I remember like there was a review of Takeover Brooklyn, the first one, when the Ford Villains won the NXT Tag Team Championships off Blake and Murphy. And the reviewer at the time said, I hope they enjoy this moment. I hope they save this moment because they will never feel anything like this on the main roster. And I remember thinking at the time, like, I don't buy that. They'll do fine on the main roster because they're a really good act. They've got a really fun gimmick.
Great entrance.
This entrance is going to get over, and they'll do really, really well. And yet here I am, sat here in 2017, watching Aiden English on his own, just getting jobbed out to Ty Dillinger 2 weeks running.
I want that jump cut. I want you reading the article and then going, that'll never happen.
Yeah, now here I am. Yeah. So poor old Aiden English, but Ty Dillinger. It's what do you do with Ty? That's the thing at the moment. Like they've brought him up, and it always comes back to. I feel like I'm jumping around here, but it always comes back to. There was an interview with Triple H, and he said this multiple times that we would never bring up someone from NXT unless we had 6 months worth of storylines planned out for them. I don't think that has ever happened.
He knows what to say to appease indie fans. He's a genius. Everything he says is to appease internet fans.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it doesn't matter because then when Vince finally steps down, he's got that swell of support and he can do what he wants.
Yeah,
he's playing a longer game.
He is playing a longer game, but
it scares me how good he is at it.
My question to you is, what do you do with Ty?
I don't know. Originally, it would have been put him in the IC title feud, but now on both brands, really, it seems like the mid-card belts are your top belts. So you can't... Yeah. And then, like, the actual top belts are in this weird new level where they don't get defended or show up on telly anymore. So now Ty Dillinger is left without a level.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing for him to do on that brand. It's kind of like that's the point that Shinsuke's in at the moment, where Shinsuke Nakamura is in a feud with Dolph Ziggler, but like once that feud is over, where do you go from there? It's almost as if someone should do a fantasy booking video on
tease for the next episode, which will go up on Saturday. You're excited for that.
Then we had the Welcoming Committee. Dreadful name for a heel tag team.
Said it last week. I said I think they're going to call them the Welcoming Committee.
That's not a good name.
It's terrible.
What happens when they're feuding with people they've been feuding with for months? They're no longer the Welcoming Committee. They've already been welcomed.
They're just the committee.
It's the committee. A bunch of ladies.
Yeah. And James Ellsworth.
Yeah, but they had again, good little match. I loved the beatdown of Charlotte before she came out. And I also liked the
good heel tactic.
You had the tease at the start of it with Becky. Like, they ran into her backstage and we were like, "Oh, you should come join our gang." And she was like, "I don't think I'm going to do that." But
Finn Balor. I can tell that was a good Becky. You're so good at impressions. I wish I had your abilities.
Oh, it's fine. They don't come easy. So I thought that was quite nice. The only thing I had with the beatdown is that they knocked Charlotte down, and then Charlotte looked fine.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't look like she was down and out.
Fine.
She looked like she'd been hitting the. I was like, oh, my jaw's a bit sore.
She was kind of just propped up like that for most of it, watching everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I was like, come on, pull yourself together.
Maybe they're, I don't know. I'm trying to read too much into it than it actually is.
Here's the thing. I loved this end segment when after they won, Becky came down and she the crowd were hot all night. It was an amazing crowd, and they loved it when Becky came out. And
they were chanting for her.
They were chanting, and they booed when she teased the heel turn. It was everything that you want from a crowd. It was so great, and she was shaking hands, and then Ellsworth was.
Did you buy into it?
No.
For a moment there, I thought, no, not like this. Don't turn her heel like this, because I didn't have faith in the team. Yeah, I didn't have faith in whoever's booking. Smackdown that night.
No, I had faith in the Road Dogg.
Yeah.
And then throwing James Ellsworth into Carmella and the rest of the team. It was just a great, wonderful end segment. It's capped off by the fact that then the Welcoming Committee still went over and still stood tall at the end.
Because they had the numbers game.
They have the numbers game.
It makes sense.
That's absolutely the best way to do it.
That's two badass babyface. That's how you book a babyface. AJ Styles, I'm just going to fight you. Gets out. Becky Lynch is exactly the same.
Absolutely.
So it's really she's smarter than the heels, but she lost out because they're bullies.
Yeah.
Good booking.
Dolph Ziggler beat Blue Cara or Sin Cara.
Blue Cara, yeah. Because he's got... What was that? He looked heavy.
Yeah, it looked really weird.
It was weird, yeah.
It looked really weird. But it was a job. It was a squash match.
It was just to build him up for Nakamura.
Exactly, yeah. It's not Nakamura. It's the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. Have you seen the poster for Backlash?
It looks pretty cool. But it's got in electronic writing down the side. The artist.
The artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. That's his name. Anyway, so that was fine.
Want to talk about it.
But the highlight of SmackDown.
You really like this?
The highlight of SmackDown was the Fashion Police segment with Breezango skitting Law and Order. As soon as the Law and Order thing came out, as soon as the voice of it, I started laughing, and I was like, oh, they're going to do the Fashion Police. This is genius. And the stuff in the background was so funny.
It was really, really good attention to detail.
Oh, it was so much attention to detail. And I proper belly laughed at when they were talking about their felonies, and they said, oh, so he's been jaywalking. And they went, yeah, and Jimmy walking.
That
was so good.
That was perfectly delivered. I thought, that was
so
great.
funny.
And then you see they had Shinsuke Nakamura's picture on the background.
Yeah.
Said King of Strong Style, Strong Crossed Out, King of No Style.
Oh, it was wonderful.
They had a missing poster for John Cena. It's just a really nicely thought out segment.
I hope they do more of this.
Yeah.
Because, again, I always bring up my NXT love. There was a period when the Vaudevillains, actually, funnily enough, they were feuding with the Lucha Dragons when Lucha Dragons were tag champs, and they used to do skits, but they were like black and white silent movies. And they were really funny and really creative and really an inventive way of building a feud. And I was like, I hope they do more of this. It'd be great to see them do more of this. Don't do it all the time because it runs a bit stale. But just doing this every now and again is a really nice way to build a feud. It's a different way of cutting a promo. It's not some generic brunette robot standing there going like, ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, Breezango, and then they come out and cut a promo where they're not looking at her or looking at the camera, but just staring into the middle distance.
Yeah.
This was I'm so much more invested in this feud now because of that skit.
SmackDown do it way better than Raw, because you think back over the last year, the Miz's Total Bella's Bull S-word skits.
This was
the Heath. The template of this is Rhino and Heath Slater from the all these kids stuff.
Yeah.
And just like Rhino just got completely over from eating cheese crackers in the background.
Exactly.
A gimmick he still has to this day. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That segment was a big thumbs up. And then Kevin Owens and Jericho, of the 3 matches they've had, I thought this was my favourite one.
I haven't been into any of them.
No.
I guess I like the first one because I like the finger reference. The finger when he broke the ring break from the Walls of Jericho. I just thought such a good relationship and just some of the best in-ring segments. It's like that got me through Raw. That saved Raw for me for 4 really dark months over the Christmas period. And for my money, they had the best Raw segment of all time, like in-ring segment with the Festival of Friendship.
Not all the time. You're doing a WWE thing now.
No, but that genuinely is.
Is it your favourite segment of all time?
I was too young for the barbershop window. I've only seen that in retrospect.
I wouldn't have had a barbershop window either.
What would you have?
Austin with the beer truck, I think, is probably my number one in-ring segment.
Oh, I kind of feel like that's
in context. It was incredible.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that's.
Oh, actually, Austin's return when he was drinking in the bar. It was the week before Invasion. And he was drinking in the bar all show, and Vince was trying to get him to come back from the bar. And then at the end of the show, it's just WCW beating down the WWE guys. And then the glass shatters, and Austin comes down, and the place erupted.
When I say segment, I kind of mean like a big planned thing, like the Festival of Friendship.
It was a big planned thing. Oh, right.
But, a gimmick segment.
Right, okay,
Does that help? Does that get me out of the doghouse?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, for all of that stuff they've done, for all that stuff they've done, I don't think they've translated that level into in-ring work. They haven't connected with me
I
as
really
much.
liked the match at Payback, but I've never thought that any of them were like 4-star, 4.5 star matches. They've been like 3.5 star matches, which is still very it was still good. But this was my favourite one of the 3. I very much enjoyed it.
Okay.
And I enjoyed the beatdown afterwards. I thought they did a really, really strong job of that. And I thought Jericho did a great job of selling it as well.
That's my point again, though. The after-match thing I enjoyed more than the actual match.
Yeah.
I enjoy everything apart from the actual matches they've had, which is a weird way round.
Yeah.
But yeah. I did. Fine show.
I really enjoyed it.
But which show was better, Luke Owen?
Smackdown.
See, I'm going to go Raw.
Really?
I am.
Even with the Fashion Police skit.
Hey, I am such a big fan of wrestling that that main event was so good.
Yeah, okay, well, I could give you that, yeah.
Yeah, I think the main event was so good, and then you had the other little bits. There was nothing abjectly awful on either show. But I just think Raw's high points were higher for me than SmackDown. I thought SmackDown just was like this, most of the time.
Apart
Whereas
from these
Raw was like that.
peaks and troughs.
Peaks and troughs, yeah. So overall, it's thin because I thought it was pretty average week. But overall, I'll give it to Raw because of that match.
Yeah, no, I'm still going to smack. I thought that segment was hysterically funny. I enjoyed the squash matches. I enjoyed the segment with the welcoming committee. I thought that was a really, really great in-ring moment. And I really enjoyed the main event, so I'm going with SmackDown. But I will say that the main event on Raw was probably the best match all week.
Yeah, it will be of quite a while, for WWE at least. What did you think? Let us know in the comments who won, Raw or SmackDown. And click the videos over Luke's face right now to catch up with the latest WrestleRamble episode and, of course, the WrestleTalk news for all the latest happenings in professional wrestling. I'm Ollie Davis. This is Luke Owen. I screwed up the intro, and that was rambling.